Welcome to Transformative Truths, quotes for learning, growing, and becoming. Glad you're here today. I'm Wally Goddard.
And I'm Sarah Waldron-Brinton.
And we have an idea to share with you today. You may have heard of a guy named John Gottman. John Gottman is probably the world's leading guru on marriage. He has just challenged so many traditional ideas and found greater truths through his research. And he said something I think is worth talking about. He said this: people who have a negative habit of mind miss half of the positivity that outside objective observers see. So the positive habit of mind is actually more accurate. If you have a negative habit of mind, you actually distort toward the negative, and you don't see the positive. People with a positive habit of mind, it's not that they don't see the negative, they do, they see it, but they really emphasize the positive in terms of the impact on them. That's the difference. Well, let's unpack that, shall we, Sarah?
Yeah. I love it. Because really what he's saying is, if you want to find some bad stuff in your partner or in life, you can.
Yeah, it's not hard.
It's not hard to do.
They're human.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Except, of course, Nancy.
Nancy, yeah.
It's a real challenge with Nancy. But imagine if our sort of factory settings, our home base was, boy, this is my favorite person.
Yeah, I love that. As opposed to a factory setting of, well, things aren't quite right. They're not doing things properly. Why can't they figure this out? That's kind of a factory setting in a fallen world, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That we come looking at people and the experiences and say, doggone it, why can't they get it right?
Mm-hmm.
Where right is usually defined as taking care of my needs.
Right, exactly. Or doing things the way I think they should be done.
Yes.
Because I'm the expert on all things.
Oh, man. Are we humans funny?
We're so funny.
We're just nuts. You were going to say?
Oh, well, because I'm a historically very self-critical person who also thinks I'm right about everything. And so I'm not quite sure how those things coincide, but they can in my wonderful brain. But I have found that if I can just shift my attitude, and that could be toward my husband, my children, my neighbor, my mission companion who choose the wrong way, like any of these things, it really starts with a choice.
Yes. Oh, we can change the factory settings.
Yeah. We can put on our everyone is great glasses today and look through that lens instead of, in what ways is every person on this earth bothering me?
You know, one of the things this reminds me of is that my tendency is to be a perfectionist. I want things to be just right. And I have at times in my life made myself absolutely crazy, miserable, unhappy, just depressed with my perfectionism. But maybe even greater mischief is done when I apply my perfectionism to others and essentially impose, this is the way things ought to be done, and it's not done until, and oh my goodness. If I were to impose all of those must, shoulds on Nancy, I'm confident I could make her crazy, because one of Nancy's greatest strengths is her adaptability.
Yeah.
If I want to force her to do things my way and think my way and act my way, what a wonderful thing I will have lost.
You know what? That reminds me of a conversation I had with my husband last week. I have to say, I'm always grateful when he helps me find a blind spot in something I'm doing. And I maybe don't always react the perfect, like, oh, thank you for telling me that in the moment. But I think I have gotten better at it because I find that he's actually pretty smart and knows some things about how
Tom is very insightful.
Tom is great. And that's why I married him. And the other day he said, you know, Sarah, you really put a lot of things on the calendar. And sometimes I feel like I just get to be surprised each day with what's going to happen. And I was like, oh, no. And he's like, maybe we should just sit down and talk about the calendar a little more instead of
coordinate.
Just because in my mind, now I have to give you some context. I am a recovering physical calendar only person. When Tom and I got married, he came to know that I have each year a planner, and that planner is where my things that I need to do go. And invariably, I would lose that planner.
Oh, no.
And he was so patient, you know, okay, maybe someday my wife will choose to join the digital age. And I've done it. And I said, Tom, Google Calendars is amazing. It reminds me things. And he's going, yes,
Yes, dear.
Welcome. And so I thought, okay, now that I'm in this whole digital calendar world, I'm just going to put everything in there. And anytime I think of something to do, I'm going to stick it in the calendar that second, right? And so then I found out last week that maybe some of the things I put in are a bit surprising. And maybe Tom had something he wanted to do on Saturday afternoon. And that was very helpful for me.
Yes.
To realize, because I don't set out in my day and think, what can I make Tom do this afternoon or this evening when he's home from work? How can I get him to do my bidding as quick as possible? But maybe it was feeling like that every now and then.
Yeah.
So
doesn't that underscore that coordinating two lives is pretty challenging? Each of us have our often unspoken dreams about what we want to have happen. And when we don't communicate those, we can both be disappointed. We can both be frustrated, husband and wife.
Yeah. And so it's these little things. And instead of him just sitting there thinking, grumble, grumble, my wife is bothering me, we talked about it and now it's going better. And I think that if we just take a little bit of time in our relationships to notice, I have a lot of examples of when I've goofed up. Here's one more. One of my best friends in college, she was going to come over and see my art show at the university. And I got hung up at work and someone needed something. Anyway, I was like an hour late. I got there and she said, Sarah, sometimes I feel like when we have scheduled some time together, I feel a little slighted if you don't show up when you say you are. And here I am thinking, well, I was at the MTC and I was helping missionaries and I was doing something good. But I don't know how this kind of morphed into how Sarah could be a better person, be more observant of others. But I just think that if we can be willing and open to feedback from people who love us,
yes,
our life could be really a lot better, because I could have gotten really offended by that, you know. But instead, now, ever since that time, if I make a plan with this particular friend, I make sure that I follow through on that plan.
That's great. I'm sure she's grateful.
And so am I, because it turns out I like spending time with her. So anyway.
Now, intriguingly, we have added some additional dimensions to our original idea, haven't we? Because I think
Can you believe that?
I think the original idea is that if we look for the positive, which I think in this case, you're doing not as much as someone else is in the message that came from Tom.
Right.
Tom delivers a message that says, Sarah, can we coordinate on the calendar a little bit? Can I contribute also to our shared lives? And so that positivity lubricates the whole process, doesn't it? If we just say,
yes,
oh, that's great, Tom. You have such great ideas. I'd love to hear what you have in mind. And then let's figure out how to have the best of the best.
Yeah. And so maybe if we take off our prickly little jackets that we wear sometimes around each other and think, don't brush up against me or else.
Or I'll scratch your arm off.
Yeah. If we smooth out our rough places and our vision of each other and the community at large, really, it can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing us back. You had a very nice way of saying, Sarah, you've derailed us.
No, I think it all is part of a whole, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that starting out with a positive mindset, I am grateful to have this person in my life, and I'm grateful for what he or she brings. And when we make adjustments, like, for instance, you've expressed gratitude that Tom was willing to give you some input on things, or a friend was. And when we keep that positive frame of mind, boy, it's a great lubricant for life, isn't it? You're likely to have good outcomes.
Yeah. When you realize just what a privilege and blessing it is to have loving relationships and to learn and grow together, it's a gift. It is such a gift. Me and Tom have been married for 9 years, so we're pretty much experts.
Pretty much.
But I think we're grateful to look at people like you and Nancy, who have been married at least 5 years longer than us. And
how about 54 years?
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
that's
it's
exciting.
great.
And try and be a little better every day. I'm glad that John Gottman is out there helping us remember the positive idea might just be the more accurate one.
Yes. You know, what's funny is I think when we enter into marriage and we're so naive, so uninformed, so unaware, I think we sometimes expect that married life is going to be just like dating life, just fun, and everything works really smoothly. And then we confront that we may have different preferences and different schedules. And if we can keep the positivity, if we can keep saying, hey, as I accommodate and learn and work with my partner, life will actually be better for both of us. Life is richer. In my case, life is so rich because Nancy's a part of it. And she is indeed different from me in many ways. And wow, when I understand those and pay attention to them and appreciate them, my life's so much better.
Yeah.
I love Nancy.
I love Nancy too. And I love Tone.
So should we try to make a challenge out of this?
Yeah. What should we do?
I think it's to be looking for the positive, even when, for instance, it feels like there might be a little friction, maybe a difference in schedules or a difference in dreams, to just really embrace that. Life is going to be richer when we do this together, when we accommodate each other, when we work together and understand each other.
And I wonder if it's helpful to think of your own sort of little phrase, your own little filter through which you can see your partner, your children, your mom. This is my best friend, you know?
Yeah.
Like when my 3-year-old is being just spunky and spicy, I can think, this is my tiny little best friend.
Yeah,
And
little buddy.
yeah, and how would I treat my best friend?
Yes. Recently, I think you've seen this, Sarah, I asked AI to take a picture of me and a picture of Nancy when we were children and put us together, having fun together. Now, we didn't actually meet till college, but I don't think reality ought to intrude on possibility. And
That's right.
I'd just like to imagine that Nancy have, for all of eternity, been buddies who love doing things together. And maybe that kind of positivity, that looking for the sweet companionship makes a real difference.
We are coming dangerously close to stopping this podcast, but now I have to tell a story to you. Which is my favorite thing to do is imagine me and Tom like brushing shoulders at like the Layton Hills Mall when we were 7 and 8 years old or something, because he lived in Brigham City and I lived in Kaysville. And I often visited my family here in Logan. Anyway, so I'm like, Tom, we were definitely both at the Layton Hills Mall buying shoes or whatever. And I would always drive through Brigham City, and he thinks I'm making this up, but I would look down over Brigham City and think, maybe my future husband's down there. And I just love it. I just think it's so fun. And I like to imagine us in heaven later, like watching some tape in there. And there's Tom with a bowl cut in 1994. And I see him from across Payless Shoe Source. And I'm like, what a cute guy.
I love it. Have you created your AI image yet?
No, maybe we should.
Yeah, I think so. The two of you passing at Payless Shoes.
Yeah, and we're both wearing all denim. I can picture it now.
So part of this is that positivity is the choice to see good in everything. And it may even include some fantasy, some imagination as we imagine the ways in which our lives across eternity have bumped into each other.
Oh boy, and I see that. So if you look for it, I mean, really, our lives are so interwoven.
Oh, yeah.
I served my mission in this place and Tom's best friend lives there now. And then the lady hiking down the street the other day also served her mission there. And we all like met randomly. And I think that these are the sorts of things you see if you look for positivity. You see connections instead of ruptures. You see beauty instead of ashes.
Wow. There's a challenge for us. We look forward to seeing you again.
Thanks.
We hope that some of the quotes we share are meaningful to you and something maybe you'd like to add to your personal collection. If so, go to drwally.com and look under Transformative Truths podcast. And all the quotes as we broadcast them will be available to you to cut and paste into your collection.